Hello, Westman, and welcome to one more edition of our show, Cafe Diversity. This show is brought to you by Westman Communications Group TV, WCG TV, and Westman Immigrant Services. Thank you very much for giving us this space. And this show will take you on a journey to meet a lot of people and communities that form Westman. You're going to be learning and meeting new people, hearing about their stories, their background, the many ways they contribute to our communities. Brandon, Manitoba has changed, and it's been always a multicultural place with several ethnic groups and several different communities that live together and contribute to a wider community. But lately, we've been witness of big changes with big diversity coming in, especially in the last decade. And today, we have in Brandon a wide variety of offerings in terms of culture, products, and people. And that's why we have today Wilmer Lopez and Carlos Ecos. Wilmer is originally from Colombia and Carlos comes from Peru. They're both living in Brandon. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to the Cafe Diversity. It's a great opportunity there.
Really glad to have you here. So we're going to start with you, Wilmer.
Okay.
You're a very interesting case. You have lived in a few places, Colombia, the United States, and also in Canada. And you brought with you also experience in different fields, and now you have your own business.
Right.
So who is Wilmer Lopez?
Okay, Wilmer Lopez is a Colombian person. I got my first education in Colombia, as I had my bachelor in economics and my master's degree in finance. And when I moved to the States, I started studying there, studying my English at the beginning, and then I did some courses on finances all the time in the area. I worked for a bank over there, and that was 1999. Then I moved in 2003 to Toronto, and in 2010 to Brandon, Manitoba.
So you're not new on the immigration experience. You said you left Colombia in the 90s, and then you lived in the United States for a while, and finally you settled Brandon. So the million-dollar question is why, after living in big cities in the U.S., you choose Brandon as the place where you want to raise your family and have a business?
Right. Great question, especially with the family and with the business. Like you said, I have lived in big cities, like where I am from, Medellin, where I live in Bogota when I got my education, then Orlando, Florida, New York, Toronto. But Brandon has, even that it's in a small city, has a special, it's a special place with, like you mentioned, multicultural, a lot of people coming, new business growing, and I always try to help people, like working with the people, trying to bring the products to them, the advice that they need. Like I'm working on the mortgages and on the income tax, especially for the immigrants, to translate my experience to them and teach them how to deal in a different environment, in a different country. But why Brandon? Because it's a great community, it's a safe community for the kids, and it's a great place to grow the business, to start a business and grow it.
And that's really interesting because you tried all of this in different places in the United States, and then you decide to cross the border and look for opportunities. First in Toronto, you were living in Toronto, and you were working for a company there where you got a lot of experience in the financial field. Can you tell us a bit about that experience?
Definitely, yeah.
In Ontario?
Yeah, and when I get into Toronto and I passed all my immigration process, that it takes time, it took about 8 months, then I started working for Wells Fargo Financial. It was an American company like having deals in Canada. And I worked for 6 years on that company. I built like a lot of confidence, like getting in the finance or knowing the financial system in Canada, and knowing many people, getting new contacts, yeah, until they closed the doors in Canada in about 2009, ending of the 2009. Then I get forced to look for new opportunities. And then I was searching about different places in Canada, and I found Brandon as a big opportunity for immigrants, and a lot of immigrants coming here, basically because maple leaf is bringing them from the countries, but also because people see the opportunities here.
So you were working for a big financial company in Ontario, and then when they closed their branch in Canada, you decide to move on and start your own business? Or is that you did some research to come to that conclusion that Brandon was a special place to do that? Or you came to live here first and then opened the business after a while?
No, really what happened is I was observing Brandon from before. Even when I was working at that financial company, I was listening about the immigration in Brandon, how they're growing, prices, house prices, that kind of situation that happening here. So when they closed, they opened the opportunities to me to say, okay, let me go and explore over there, but always thinking on helping the community, on bring what they need.
Of course,
Yeah.
and using all the experience that you have learned
From
over the
before.
years. So we're going to move over to Carlos. Carlos comes from Peru. It's an interesting case because in Peru, you have millions of people, but in Brandon, we only have a few Peruvians. Carlos was telling me, maybe two or three of them. You can count them with your fingers. But Carlos arrived here a few months ago.
6 months ago, and maybe in 4 days. 6 months and 4 days,
Excellent.
to be precise.
And in
Yeah, I can count it.
In that few days, though, you have achieved a lot in the community. You've been part of the Winter Festival. You organized the Peruvian part of the Global Village Pavilion. You also sang in the multicultural choir. You were the soloist in that choir.
Yeah.
You also sing with the local Orchestra Son Latino band, and you are taking your full-time studies at ACC. So that's quite a lot for.
Yeah.
So how are you able to do all this, Carlos?
Well, I could say that mainly because I like people. Besides of being a musician, well, we know each other for a long time because we play in the same band. And you know that I studied music during 5 or 6 years in my country. But besides that, for the experience that I have traveling from different parts of the world, I just love hospitality. I love people. I love to engage with them, and I love culture in general. Mm-hmm. And that makes me to be involved in multicultural events or something that involve people. I just like it.
I still think you're living an expedited experience because you already decided that Brandon is also the place that you want to settle and maybe open a business in the future. You were telling me about a lot of
That's true.
So I'll go back to the same question I did to Wilmer. Who is Carlos Ecos and how you came to that decision of settling in Brandon?
Well, if I tell you about me, gonna be take me time to explain different sides of me because Carlos is a musician as well. I studied music in my country for 5 years. I studied music education. But for some circumstances in my life, I had to travel abroad, and I was working in a cruise ship during 7 years. And I was working as a salesman as well, and I was working as a musician as well. So there is a side of me that is involved with hospitality, that likes to everything related to know people, to know places, and that takes me to the question. Who is Carlos and what is Brandon? Because when I was traveling and working, and even when I set my business in my country, I was thinking in a place where all my sides gonna be together or complete maybe. And as Wilmer, who has a really interesting story, and I was just reviewing in most of the information that Brandon was really attractive, not only because it has a amount of immigrants that were coming, but also has a very good prices in mortgages. It has prices in education was affordable for me because, as you know, international students pay probably 2.5 or maybe 3 times as national students does. So besides that, all my interests were close here because even if I am studying business administration in ACC, I don't want to be far from VU, which has, one of the most respectful music school. So I just want to be near to my two sides,
Your
you
two
know?
sides.
Exactly.
Well, and the interesting part, I think, of all this is that both of you have lived in other places, have visited big cities. Carlos has been around the world. I don't know how many countries, maybe 20 different countries or more.
I think maybe in those 7 years I could say like more than 60 countries.
And you both decided that Brandon was the place to pursue your dreams. Now, Wilmar, you said before, we were talking before the interview, and you were telling me that you like to be presented as you're a business owner, but that's sort of on the side, is part of your family, a family business, but you are a mortgage specialist and an income tax specialist, and you're helping a lot of people in those areas, especially from newcomer populations. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I have been involved with the finance for many years because that's my education, and with many people working in the banks that I have worked for. So when I decided to be self-employed, I chose the mortgage specialist or the mortgage broker part, and I started to be able to prepare the income tax for the people. Income tax is a topic that when you came to Canada, you don't know nothing about it. You just work hard, you try to do the right things, and then when it's the time to prepare it, you have too many questions about it. And usually the big companies, they don't have time to explain how it works. When you go to prepare your taxes, they take 10 minutes, they get your part of your information, and they prepare whatever they think that is right. What I do different for the people is kind of coaching. At that moment, I take more than many times I take half an hour or 1 hour with the whole family, explaining why they did wrong, what they can do in the future. And during the whole year, I keep coaching them to have a better financial life, not only because of the income tax, but because of the credit, because how to use the mortgages, how they can open a business and help themselves with the taxes, how to get prepared for a retirement. Yeah, so that's my main thing. And like Carlos here, my friend here, is we love people. We want to talk to people. We want to help them to succeed in this country as an immigrant.
It sounds to me like that you found a way to relate the things that you do professionally to the community. So to give it a social aspect to what you do. You're doing the taxes and all this, but you're also helping people. And I think for immigrant communities, they usually struggle a little bit because in some of these countries, and I don't want to make a general assumption on this, there are different levels on everything, but a lot of people didn't even have a chance to have a credit card, for example, or to have a credit of line, or to have a savings account and a checking account. Usually the financial services in third world countries are limited, and limited to certain populations too. And immigrants are sensitive to all this new world of banks and credit cards and services that Canada offers. I think you probably use a lot your Spanish doing that, isn't it?
No, definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a way to help them, because when they came here, like you said, not in general, but most of the people, they never had a credit card back home. they never had a credit. They never had to prepare the income tax and get some money back. So they get a little bit, I will say, crazy with that, and they need the education that nobody's providing it. They go to English classes, they go to work, but nobody really teaches them, hey, how to manage your finances and prepare for the future and get all the resources and the benefits that they can get from different institutions, from the government and everywhere. That's my main thing. And hopefully, if I keep growing on the mortgages and the tax preparation, I would like to be a teacher also, in college or university, and try to tell them, and especially with international students, if they want to stay and they want to be a Canadian, be prepared to learn also that portion of living in Canada.
And have a healthy financial life.
You're right, healthy.
That's really interesting because you could talk to Carlos right here after the show. Maybe Carlos is taking business at ACC,
Right.
right? And so, Carlos, you were mentioning that you had your own business in Peru. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that, but also how that linked to your decision to come to the business at ACC in Brandon?
Right. Oh well, my first trial, or my first trial to do my business was in Peru, and it was in 2000 at the end of 2011. So because my family is related in the pet shop business, so my family had different pet shops in Peru. I decided to be in the business, but importing things from China. So the only market I knew for the experience I have in my family was the pet business. So I decided to bring stuff and accessories for pets and do my own brand and start selling them in different part of the capital, in some part of Peru. So, and I was accumulating capital, but at the same time, as I told you, I had an experience. I mean, my education was basically music a long time ago. And for the experience, I was exposed to sales, hospitality, and customer service during all my 7 years working in the ship. So it was the wish in myself. I mean, I have the desire to get more education in what I knew already for experience. So that took me to study business or to pursue in my education in ACC. So now here in Brandon, I found a platform to merge my two sides and the experience I have. For one side, I just want to be an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur, and I found here a really good platform to do it. But in the other hand, I want to pursue business related to hospitality or related to events. I mean, we are a musician. I know how it works, events, concerts, parties, and I found Brandon a really good place to start growing in that direction.
So as Wilmar, you sort of saw Brandon as a place to live and
Yeah.
open a business, and you were already thinking about possibilities of
In closing, just bring more entertainment. I mean, make it more
vibrant.
exactly.
We need it here.
Yeah, I mean, provide more.
And we have talked in past shows how important it is for a place like Brandon and other communities in Canada that the immigrants come and they contribute with their workforce and they pay taxes and all that, but they also contribute to cultural development, community development, and at the end of the day also to the economic development of our communities. And I think that's really important for people to understand how that happens step by step in different levels, but it's all related. Speaking to that, Wilmer, you have your own store in Brandon. It opened a few years ago, and it's been very successful. I see every time I go, I see it bigger with new products and new services. Can you tell us a bit about what Brandon Hispano is?
Okay, Brandon Hispano is a grocery store and bakery. It was open with the mind, my mind was helping the bigger and growing Hispanic community. But like you said, it's turning on a big level, more than I expected. and we serve everybody. Yeah, like who doesn't like bread and the kind of different bread that we prepare with different products from different countries. And it's a store where you can find a soda from Peru, but
Inca Cola.
Inca Cola, really. A soda from El Salvador, or the Colombian coffee, Costa Rican coffee. That, like, it has been a good business. It was an idea to help certain community, but because of Brandon, that is multicultural and big, now we turn in a bigger business, and we do also money transfer. So that way, you know that as immigrant, we send money to the family over there. We're here to be better as a person and as a family, but to help the people back home. So that's another thing another service that we have at the store, and it brings a lot of different people from different communities, and they know the service, they know the different products that we have, and they try it. And the local community is also, it has been also a good customers for us. They like to try, they like to check the new product that we have or the different products that we have. And yeah, we're growing. We have 3 years at the same location, and now we're moving to a new location. Now is our own building, so it means a lot for us, and it means also for the community that we're here to stay.
So you're moving from your current location?
We're at 833 Rosen in downtown. Mm-hmm. We will stay in downtown, but we're going to 260 on 10th Street, close to the Hydro building. Okay. And that is a own building now. We're renting now, and the new one will be
your own building. Wow, that's a big improvement. So you're saying that your store not only serves a lot of people looking to buy their traditional products and their traditional food and drinks, but also it's an opportunity for brand and wider population to go and try specialty products and exotic foods. What do you see? A lot of Canadians every day, or you would say that most of your customer base are immigrants?
I would say 90% of our customers are immigrants, but that 10% is important that I never thought that I going to have it, but especially because of the bakery, and because people want to try, and there's seasons where I would say it's not 10%, but 15 or 20% of the Canadian coming to my store when it's the winter festival, so they get more used to different products and they want to try, so they came. And summertime, when they just go to the car show, yeah, so they have the opportunity to go and see, smell the nice bakery over there, and they get inside and they try and they keep trying.
And you have also participated in community events such as the Global Market and the Global Village Pavilion. And so how is that experience of connecting your business with the community?
Global Market was a great opportunity for Brandon Hispano to be known in the community. When you have a store and is located in a place, it's not easy for the people to know that you're there. Yeah, but the Global Market put many people together with the products and services, and you announce, or the Global Market announced to the people, to the local people, come here because we have different stuff. So they came, and they came downtown to really to help, not only to look, but to help to try the products, to buy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And your store is part of a group of businesses that are open their doors based on the immigrant population. We have now an African store that it's called TNT Authentic. We have 2 Asian stores and several restaurants. How do you see your business as part of this immigrant business community?
Okay, definitely for Brandon, that is in a small city, it's a good size of options for the customers, and the more options the customer have, the better service they can have, and the better price that they can get. So it's always a good thing for the community and for the immigrants to have more and more options, and they choose who give you the better service and the better price.
Of course, and I think culturally speaking, I went a couple of times to this place called Kensington Market in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful place because you can go and try food from around the world. You can visit the stores and buy all sort of things that you would have to travel to try those
Exactly.
things. So you have to go somewhere else, and you have them there. And now we're talking about Toronto, but now all of these things, most of them are becoming available slowly, but steadily also in Brandon. So we have more and more stores, more and more products, more and more cultural expressions to enjoy. And Carlos, you are a singer, an artist, and you have been part of a few events and groups in Brandon. You sing with this Latin band called Son Latino Band, and you also decided to participate at the Global Village for the first time, and you put on a wonderful show for Peru and all this. So tell us about Carlos the artist now.
Well, Carlos the artist is going to be almost the same as Carlos as entrepreneur. Yes, basically because I like to entertain people. I like to entertain people as well as, I mean, when I'm doing a business related to hospitality or sales, or just as an artist, as a musician, the first objective is entertain people. And this is what I do. I mean, to be a musician is something that I don't consider as a career apart, or I mean, something far from me. It's just inside of me. I mean, I can do music anytime I want. I mean, with you, with the band, or in any, I mean, if I'm invited to be part of any choir or any events, it's something natural. It's part of me. It's like, I don't know, it's like cooking or doing something that I really like. So I studied for a long time that. I mean, it's my passion. But, I mean, as a human being, we are constantly growing and getting more passions or more areas that we would like to grow.
Well, and just with a month of being here, I was in a concert where you were singing with a full choir.
Oh,
that choir was part of Brandon University, and it's called the Multicultural Choir.
Yeah, it is. It's still there. I think the Multicultural Choir was an idea promoted by the Westman Immigrant Center, and it was a really good experience because I met the director, the conductor, Andre. So we worked together in that project. So, and well, honestly, when I first met her, I just want to be involved in the choir as a general singer, as a voice. But it was kind of funny because when she was playing with me, or well, I got a kind of audition, and she just asked me to get the soloist, and I said, I mean, wow, well, I take it. I mean, I did classical music long time ago, and I never expected to do classical music again. But she brought me back. I mean, and it was a really good experience to work with all musicians, all of them music students, very good musicians, I mean, performing with us. It was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
I think being involved in the community so soon as you did must be probably a record in community involvement and everything. We're closing our show right now, and I really want to say thank you to. Very happy to hear those words. So thanks again for being here today with us today. This is Cafe Diversity. Thanks to WCGTV and Westman Immigrant Services. Yeah. My name is Jaime Chinchilla. I am the cultural facilitator for Westman Immigrant Services. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.